Okay, so moving on from that last section, science as superheroes checkpoint 2. So once we looked at science fact versus science fiction, you'll look at this. So you choose a villain or a superhero that you want to research. I've provided heaps and heaps of examples here. It doesn't have to be someone from this list. We've said before that it doesn't even have to be a superhero, just someone from sort of pop culture, from cartoons, TV shows, movies, anything like that that has abilities that are different to a normal human, even things like Batman and James Bond, who use technological sort of devices to make them super. Okay, they're not actually superheroes in that, like they're just people, but how you have to find things that you can look at and say how realistic they are. So Batman's a good example of that. So you can choose anyone from there or anyone you think as well. Obviously, this isn't a complete list of all the people that you could look at. Anyone you like. Okay, and then the next step would be that they have to have, this is where they have to have something, that the person you choose has to have at least 4 abilities or powers or aspects of science, fact, and fiction that you can look at. So Batman is a good example. He has his cape. You could look at, is it possible to do the things the cape does, like glide, use it as a shield, the grappling hook. We'll look at that a little bit later. I'll do an example on the grappling hook. You could look at the training the body up to those sort of peak human characteristics. So he's super, like, even though he's not a superhuman, he is an athlete at the height of like physical capabilities, and he has trained his mind to be the best detective in the world as well. You could look at those things, or you could choose someone like Superman and do 4 of his powers. Wolverine or Deadpool, you could look at healing and regenerating. There's shape shifting there. There's things like biological immortality, so some characters can't die in the comics. Is there real examples of biological immortality? Well, there is. There are some animals that we believe that if they weren't sort of stopped by outside factors like there's rock lobsters and other things in the sea, if something doesn't eat them or they don't degenerate, like get a disease or something like that, then there is a possibility that their life cycle could just keep going, and then they would be effectively immortal. They don't live that long because the earth doesn't allow that to happen. Like something will eat them, something will squash them, something will kill them. But like if you could take all those factors out, then there's some animals that don't age the way that we do. So that's pretty cool. Reanimation, can you reanimate something that was dead before? Okay, some characters, especially in Marvel comics, they die all the time and come back. Superman has as well. Batman has. Green Arrow has. All the DC guys have had a crack at that as well. How do you bring someone back? Is that possible? Frankenstein's an example of that as well. All right, so you've got to look at 4 powers that you can talk about. Okay, you put them on this slide here. Here's my character and my 4 abilities. Okay, and then you answer these things. What is that power? Give us a picture. Is there a real scientific basis for it? So where is this sort of science fiction come from? How have the creators got it right? Is it realistic or not? Okay, so looking at that biological immortality, you could say yes. So some animals appear to be maybe not like truly immortal, that they could live forever, but they don't appear to age the way that we do as humans, where we've got a finite life of like 100 years roundabout. Okay, they could live longer. Okay, so you could look at that. So yes, there is a real scientific basis for it. Have the creators got it right? Well, in some examples, they'll sort of live forever, and they have associated powers that mean they can't be hurt as well. So they're invulnerable. They can't catch diseases and other things that would kill us along the way. Is the portrayal realistic or not? Well, normally it's not, but they might have some things right. Okay, so if you look at flight, is the way that they show Superman and Wonder Woman flying accurate? Probably not, but we can do some of it. There is a real scientific basis for helping humans to fly, or at least glide, or temporarily go up into the sky, not the way that the superheroes do it. Okay, love this stuff. Are there any real world examples? So flight, we have a look at that in the Superman example that will follow. How is it used?